Hello folks, Reloading Bench back with you once again on this beautiful weekend afternoon. And before we get started with this box and its goodies, I thought I'd share with you, since I was working on single point cutting tool, trying to cut my right hand, or cut is not the right word, grind my cutting tool for my right hand cutting tool out of high-speed steel for my machining class. I came across this old picture and I thought this was kind of cool. Obviously this is like 80 years ago. That's a guy standing on top of the ways, and it looks like a wooden bench type thing, wooden sled type thing, as he's miking with like a 4-foot micrometer this giant diameter piece of some type of metal. That is a monster lathe. Just look at that. You know, I don't know if this is real or fakey fake or what, but pretty amazing in terms of the sizes. Stuff we don't do anymore, I don't think. Or if we did, it would be done on a giant CNC machine. But I think there's a dude in Australia, I can't remember his YouTube channel, he does big lathe stuff. But in any case, let's get to the box. This box is not new, but it is unopened because this was the power feed that I picked up with my mini mill, my HiTorque 6450 from Little Machine Shop. And I decided in my mill journey of learning that I would not put this on immediately. And I'm at a point, not necessarily in my journey of learning, but I'm at a good enough point where maybe it's time to put that on. So I was going to take advantage of this time this weekend and bust out the instructions, which don't look to be too thick, and unveil this particular beast. So it looks like we've got three pockets of stuff, some stuffage. I don't know what the best way to take this out is, so I will take it out in its three areas of packaging. Looks like the power source is its own area. That's a big power source. Maybe that's why I didn't want to mess with it, because of the power source, and I didn't want to complicate things back when I was initially taking things apart. And this doesn't want to come out easy, so let me move the camera. And all right, so here's the three piles. One of the control units, the other end of the control unit, some hardware. I can't remember what this is. Probably some type of stop that plugs in the power unit, and the instructions. So I will look these instructions over and then decide if I'm going to try and do this real time. Doubtful, because the camera's always in the way. Or if I'm going to just kind of do it and then show you what it looks like afterwards. So yeah, I'm not gonna probably not gonna do this real time. I'll take this step by step and read these very carefully so that I don't F things up. All right, back at another point of the installation process. All right, so the instructions are kind of shitty. This is all the instructions that pertain to my particular serial number, 10301. So these 4 steps, which supposedly only take 20 minutes. I went on Little Machine's site, and it looks like you're going to take off the end table piece and then put the clutch and the controller in. Not sure which screws, because it really doesn't say. So, you know, we'll just have to experiment a little bit. That needs to come off with these 2 screws. Hopefully, we'll see. All right, so the single most time-consuming and frustrating thing are these two little hex bolts. I don't have a long enough T-handle to get in here and actually turn. So the only way to do this, and the camera's in the way of course, is to do a half turn at a time. Out, wiggle free, half turn at a time, because there is no room. And with the camera in the way, that makes it, it probably helps if I go the right way too. Righty-tighty, not lefty-loosey. Camera always throws everything off. But yeah, this is the single most time-consuming and frustrating thing, because you all know that the hex tool never likes to go in easily. So yeah, half turn, getting it in, and there's a key in between all of the, there's a key here to lock onto the table, there's a key here to lock onto the clutch. So, you know, it's really straightforward. You take off the original end piece, and then you fit the key, put it in the hole, and the hex pieces that the hex bolts that had locked the old end piece in are not used because they're too short. So you get longer versions to lock this into the table. But yeah, this is a pain in the ass, just because I don't have like a super long hex, a 3mm hex. All right, so that's that. All right, by process of elimination, the last two really tiny screws were to mount this in, and the holes were already drilled and tapped right where the center of the table is. So again, Murphy's Law, there's no way to get in there with a long hex, so it was one of these. Easier than the clutch and the control unit, but still. And now to put the stops that trigger each of these buttons on the left and right side, and I'll mount those in there and on the other left side of the table. So that's mounted. I'm not going to adjust this right now, but essentially what happens is that would hit that stop and trigger that button, and we'll test that. The way this mounts in here is with like a little M-lock thingy bob. So you get it in there and you just tighten it. Good stuff. Moment of truth. I have plugged everything in. I have not hit go. You can see the power brick wired to my contraption of power. And instead of moving the camera, let's see if I can maneuver. No, let me move the camera a little bit. All right, so we see that power's on, and if we see this table move, all right, so I'm going to hit the power to go that way. Actually, you know what? I'm going to hit it to go this way to see if the stop on the right side works. So it said it would do that on startup. Oh, maybe if I put it in, if I engage the auto. Let's go back to and I must have missed something. I must not have engaged oh, wonderful. So I get to fuck with these. That's just not going to be fun. Okay, so that's, maybe I need to, maybe the clutch just, okay, there we go. The clutch didn't engage. So now we're going to try it again. Maybe I'm golden. Oh yeah, we're moving. You can't see the handle turning, but hopefully you can see the table moving. And the table's moving. You can see that wheel turning. It stops whining at higher speed. All right, so I'm more interested in this stop. So I want to see, actually it's the right stop. I should have just, that camera's always in the fucking way. Ugh. Well, we're going to find out if it hits that stop and how sensitive it is. And we're coming up on it. And I've got my hand on the stop just in case. Huh? That stopped it. Auto stop. So we will change the other direction. And we will see if this one stops. It was actually very simple once you knew what you were doing and understood what you were doing. The challenge was these two hex and the two hex screws under there. And I'm going to make sure that that doesn't hit anything. There we go. Nice. So we'll go get it centered and call it a day. That was a relatively easy upgrade. We can probably pull this back out. Actually, you know what? Because of the dimensions now, I'm probably going to undo what I just did, because there's a whole lot hanging off on one side now. Let's see. Where's my tape measure? All right, so this is center. 16, a little bit more. So we're going to say that that's 16 and that is 16. So basically when that's 0 to that. All right, that is a wrap, folks. Easy stuff. You just had to make sure that the clutch, and now I should be able to go back to manual mode. Yep. So just needed to catch that clutch. Yeah, you definitely have to touch it to engage that clutch, because just turning it doesn't necessarily, you see what is that, about 2 o'clock right now? It needs to be at about 3:30, and then the disengage for That's that. Let me make sure. This never moves, so I don't know what the fuck I was talking about there. Okay, so that's 15. And that is about 15 and change minus the handle. All right, we're good. Later, folks. All right, these are all of the leftover parts. Just these two. And that will go in a baggy bag. Will that fit? Maybe. We're going to find out. How tight of a fit is this? Ooh, that's a quite a nice fit. And the 2 hex screws will go hopefully all the way at the bottom to does not scratch or damage said finish. I guess that's as good as they're gonna get. And that will go with the directions. Garbage. Stuff back on my benchy bench. All right, we're calling that a wrap. Successful day. Later.